This is one of the most expensive motorcycles you can buy today. It costs $40,000. That's a lot of dough for a motorcycle. So why is this one right here so expensive? Let me give you a little hint. Come over here. It says Ducati on it. But it's more than just the name. In this video, we're gonna take a look at what they've done to make this bike so expensive, yet worth every friggin' penny. We're about to go single-sided swing arm to carbon fiber winglets, bumper to bumper on this Ducati Panigale V4 R. Vroom, vroom, where my 12 o'clock boys at, baby? Hey guys, before we get into this week's episode, I want to thank Raycon for sponsoring Bumper to Bumper. These things are so great. I can put them in at the office while I'm working. They're slim enough that they fit underneath the helmet, so when I'm at the track, I can listen to music. They're absolutely amazing. I love them so much. And I can pop them in when the old missus is giving me the business and I don't want to listen to her. So that's just an added bonus. They have amazing sound quality and they're about half the price of those other premium earbuds. Their latest model is the E25 and it's their best one yet. 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a slim compact design that gives you that good, sweet, noise isolating fit. They also come in some new cool colors, although I like the black ones because they match the color of my motorcycle. So look how just soft and smooth these suckers just slide right on into my ear holes. It's like flush. Which is great because when you put a helmet on, they don't like rip your friggin' ears off. So go to buyraycon.com/bumper or click the link in the description to get 15% off your order. Thank you guys for supporting the brands that support us here at Donut. It really helps us out and keeps us making sweet vids like this one. First off, before we dive into this bike, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Jeremiah. I'm a rider here at Donut, one of the many motorcycle lovers we have in the crew here. So, why does the name carry so much clout? Well, for one, it symbolizes over 100 years of racing and winning and all the development and technology that comes along with winning. What wins on Sunday, sells on Monday. And Ducati, they do a lot of winning. They've won 14 World Superbike titles. That's more than any other manufacturer combined. And every single one of those championship winning bikes, including this one right here, share one key piece of technology. This is what's called a desmodromic engine, and Ducati designed it specifically so that their bikes could rev to higher RPM. Your average car, take a Civic for example, has a red line of 6,500 RPM. Now most big dog street bikes like your leader bikes, they rev up to 12,000 RPMs before hitting their red line. So why do motorcycles have such a higher RPM range than cars? Think of it like a bald eagle versus a little baby hummingbird, okay? The bald eagle has larger wings that it needs to flap less to generate more power. Whereas the hummingbird's small little wings, they need to flap really fast to generate lift. So typically, bikes have to have higher rev range to make up for their smaller displacement. Now, how much does this bike rev to?
16,500 RPMs.
That's 275 revolutions of the crankshaft every second. Imagine this. Now that's at least 2 times as fast as what I just did. But there's a reason most engines don't rev that high. It's because it's really hard to do without the engine blowing up. Most engines use an overhead valve design that uses a cam to open the valve and a spring to close it. And back in the day, the metal used in those valve springs, they couldn't withstand the stresses of higher RPMs. A high revving motor would be chugging along so fast that the spring, it wouldn't have time to close the valve. And when that happens, the piston smacks the valve and your engine goes kaboom. It's not fun. Enter the desmodromic engine. See, what made Ducati so unique was they completely bailed on using springs to close the valves. Instead, the Desmo system replaced those springs with cam lobes and collars. It forcibly pulls the valve closed, perfectly timed with the rotation of the crankshaft. Now today, spring technology has improved to the point where Desmo tech isn't really necessary, but Ducati still insists on using it because they're proud of their heritage. It was incorporated into the company's street bike way back in 1968 and has been used in every model since 1980, including this engine right here. But there's something else that makes this engine very, very special. This engine is the Panigale V4. Now, Ducati is known for using their famous L-twin engine developed all the way back in the 70s, but this isn't any basic Ducati. This engine was born on the racetrack, specifically to win MotoGP races. Now, MotoGP is the highest form of motorcycle racing. It's the F1 of two wheels. All the bikes are custom-built prototypes, and they cost millions of dollars to make. Ducati took some of the smartest minds and engineers from their Ducati Corsa team to develop this high-revving 998cc V4. Tacked onto this motor is the signature Ducati dry clutch. Now, dry clutch has clutch plates that aren't bathed in engine oil. Those are wet clutches. Now, the advantage of a dry clutch is that it improves power delivery to the rear wheels. It reduces drag on the engine, it helps keep the engine oil cleaner, but it's friggin' loud. I mean, it sounds like rocks inside a dryer. The V4 motor, paired with the dry clutch and all the cool engine bits, helps this bike produce, listen up, 221 horsepower. On a motorcycle, a 2020 Mazda Miata makes 181 horsepower and it weighs 2,339 pounds. This bike, it only weighs 379 pounds and it still manages to make over 30 horsepower more. And if you want to shell out even a couple more dineros, $5,000 to be exact, you can slap on a full titanium Aeropovic race exhaust. And that pushes this thing to 234 horsepower. 234 horsepower on a thing that's smaller than an actual horse. So aside from the engine, what other trickle-down goodies does this V4R get? Well, it gets a bunch of lightweight tech. And the lighter you are, the easier it is for you to go from 180 miles an hour to 0 miles an hour. Now the fairings, they're made of carbon fiber covered in this really sweet, sexy Ducati red. Tacked on these fairings are winglets. And I'm not talking about a night out with the boys at B-Dubs. Now the winglets on a production bike are not common. The cool thing about these is Ducati used these exact ones in their 2016 MotoGP bike. This MotoGP technology that you can buy, which is crazy. The reason they even use these wings is that they create downforce at the front, keeping the bike as stable as possible during intense braking. And when accelerating, they help keep the bike down. These guys can generate up to 66 pounds of downforce at 168 miles an hour. Now, downside to winglets is that they create dirty air. And we're not talking about dudes farting in front of you, crop dusting. That's not what I'm talking about. Dirty air is the turbulent air that's coming off the lead bike and straight onto the chase bike. And that's not good if you're in second place trying to catch up. But lucky for you, you're not racing MotoGP. So you can create as much dirty air with these bad boys when you're carving through the canyons, ripping down the highway, giving someone the bird as you're passing by a residential street. Freaking dirty air boys. Now down here we have the latest in Brembo technology. They're good, they bite hard, and they'll make you do a stoppie in no time flat. So this V4R is fast as frig and has the means to stop on a dime. But how do you wrangle a 221 horsepower beast? First, this epic V4 engine spins in a counter direction to that of the wheels. The wheels spin this way and the crank spins this way. And because of that, it's easier for you to change directions. You're not fighting the gyroscopic effect of the wheels as much because it's partially compensated by the crank, which is pretty freaking sick. You might have also noticed that there's no license plate on this thing. And that's because Ducati will ship you this bike with those things removed because this is a freaking race bike. Now the V4R also uses Ducati's classic single-sided swing arm. It was originally designed to speed up pit stops in racing back in the 916 days and is now a staple Ducati bike feature. It looks freaking sick. I love single-sided swing arms and this one is beautiful. Now I think it's a good time for me to put a GoPro in my mouth and hop on this Italian stallion. Okay. Real good. Like soft like that. Now there's two things that really help this bike handle like a dream. First, the suspension components. They come from the best in the biz, and that's Öhlins. All the Öhlins bits come together to give the rider the best control money can buy. Second, the front of the V4R is 3 inches wider than the non-race version of the bike. That, along with all the vents and intakes and elements designed with the help of aerospace engineering tech, help reduce the amount of turbulence the rider brings to the table. Take a look at this screen. Instead of traditional gauges, they have this high definition, high contrast, high brightness display. It's freaking amazing. And jammed into the screen, you can access all your options, helping you ride like a pro, even if you're a little squid. It's got traction control, which we're gonna turn off in a little bit because we're gonna lay down a sweet Bernie and we're not gonna need it. It's got slide control, which helps prevent doing something like this. It's got Ducati Power Launch, which is essentially launch control. Allows the rider to only worry about clutch release as the electronics take care of the revs and help the V4R take off the line as fast as possible. That's good when you're racing. This bike also has 3 rider modes. It's got street, it's got sport, and it's got race mode. And because this is a race bike, it has a built-in lap timer, and possibly my favorite feature on the bike, it's got a pit limiter. Now, all race series require that when a race bike enters the pits, they must be at a specific speed limit. And when you're all worked up with adrenaline, that's kind of tough to do. So Ducati made it easy. You push this button right here, and it limits the speed at which you can go. It's a friggin' trick. Now, the reason this bike exists as a model that you can buy off the showroom floor is because of World Superbike Racing. Now, World Superbike Racing is one step below MotoGP. Instead of using prototypes, World Superbike rules require you use production bikes as this homologation special. Now, homologation means that a manufacturer has to sell a set number of production models to the public prior to using them to go racing. It's the same reason why you were able to buy a Group E Lancia Delta. Well, not you, not me, but you know what I'm saying. So $40,000 for a race motorcycle that's street legal might seem like an outrageous price. I mean, it's a lot of money, but in this case, it's justified. Now, if you have 40K, you can go out and get a 180 mile per hour bike, or you can go buy a 3 Series convertible and be a turkey. Which one are you gonna do? We want to thank Ducati for dropping off this bike. It is seriously one of the sickest motorcycles I've ever seen in person. It's amazing. So we want to thank them. Follow Donut at Donut Media. Follow me at Jeremiah Burton. Thanks guys. Bye for now.